All right, today we're diving into the story of one of the most intense and, honestly, controversial figures in Hindu mythology, Parashurama. He's the sixth avatar of Vishnu, a warrior sage, and an immortal who's believed to still walk the earth, and a man who is just a walking paradox.
And this is the question at the very heart of his story. I mean, think about it. Vishnu's whole job is to preserve cosmic order, to uphold Dharma. So how on earth does an avatar of the preserver end up being responsible for such a colossal act of destruction? To get our heads around this, we've got to understand the man himself. You see, Parashurama is a true god of contradictions, and it all goes back to his very birth. He isn't just one thing. He's this incredible fusion of two powerful and often clashing social classes. And this right here, this is the key to his whole character. He was born a Brahmin, the priestly class, the scholars dedicated to knowledge and spiritual stuff. But inside, he had the fire and the skills of a kshatriya, the warrior class. This unique identity, a Brahma kshatriya, basically set him on a path that no one else could walk. And he didn't just have the spirit of a warrior. He had the ultimate weapon to back it up. After some incredibly intense penance, Lord Shiva, the destroyer, was so impressed that he gifted him a divine axe, a Parashu. And that's actually where he gets his name, Parashurama, or Rama with an axe, an invincible weapon for a man with an absolutely unstoppable will. So, let's recap. We've got a warrior sage with a divine weapon from a god. All that was needed was a spark to ignite that legendary fury. And that spark, tragically, would come from a terrible family tragedy.
Okay, so let's walk through how fast this all went down. It all starts with the greed of a powerful king who steals the divine wish-fulfilling cow from Parashurama's father. So Parashurama, the warrior, steps up and kills the king. But the violence doesn't stop. The king's sons come back for revenge, and they murder Parashurama's defenseless father. When he returns, he finds his father dead and his mother, Renuka, crying out in absolute agony, 21 times. Every single cry just fuels his rage and forges a vow of vengeance in his heart.
Now, this vow wasn't just against a handful of guilty princes. No. In Parashurama's eyes, their crime was a symptom of a much deeper rot, a corrupt warrior class that had totally abandoned its duty to protect people. And his response was going to be absolute.
21. Just let that number sink in. That's how many times Parashurama swore to cleanse the earth of the Kshatriya class. In direct response to his mother's 21 cries of grief, he circled the entire globe 21 times, systematically wiping out the corrupt rulers and warriors who had failed their dharma.
This quote from the Padma Purana just nails the nature of his campaign. This wasn't just a war, it was a divine cleansing. He moved with the focused, inescapable fury of Garuda, the mythical eagle, hunting its mortal enemies, the serpents. It was methodical, it was relentless, and it was total.
The scale of the bloodshed was just immense. But then, in a really surprising twist, Parashurama transforms this site of pure vengeance. He takes the blood of all the Kshatriyas he's slain and creates 5 sacred pools at Kurukshetra. He then uses them to make offerings to his murdered father and ancestors, turning an act of massive retribution into an act of deep personal devotion.
So, after all the destruction is finally over, Parashurama's story takes another wild turn. The ultimate destroyer becomes a creator, literally reshaping the geography of India.
And this is so crucial. His rage was never for personal gain. This wasn't a power grab. To atone for his violent campaign, he performs this huge sacrifice and gives away every piece of land he had conquered to the priesthood, leaving himself with absolutely nothing.
So picture this. He's given away the entire earth, so he literally has no place left to stand. He goes to the Mahendra Mountains, and from there, he hurls his mighty axe into the sea. The ocean god, respecting the divine power of that weapon, pulls back the waters, revealing this huge, fertile stretch of new land. And this territory becomes known as Parashurama Kshetra, the land of Parashurama, what we know today as the beautiful Konkan coast.
But his story doesn't end there, not even close. He is a Chiranjeevi, one of the 7 immortals destined to live right until the end of this age. And his influence just keeps going, echoing through the great epics of Hindu literature.
After his wars, he settles down and becomes this revered guru of martial arts. I mean, just look at this roster of his students from the Mahabharata, Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Karna. He literally taught the art of war to the absolute greatest warriors of the next generation, basically shaping the entire course of the epic Kurukshetra war.
His legacy is, well, literally everywhere. As an immortal, he's believed to still be meditating up in the mountains. His legendary axe is said to be resting in Jharkhand, completely and mysteriously immune to rust. He's credited with founding Kaleri Payattu, one of the oldest martial arts in the world. And get this, prophecies say he will emerge one last time to train Kalki, Vishnu's final avatar, for the ultimate battle against evil.
Which brings us right back to where we started, a Brahmin who fights, a preserver who destroys. The story of Parashurama is this fierce, complicated lesson on justice, duty, and rage. It really forces us to ask a tough question. To preserve order, to preserve Dharma, is it sometimes necessary to be willing to unleash absolute chaos first?